So here we are with like 90 different choices. A lot of them are largely the same, and ultimately we're gonna just delete some rocks and create some new ones anyway. What I like about 20 is I don't know, I like this kind of foreground thing where we have this kind of jagged edge, but things aren't like really totally piled on top of each other. Um, Dynamically, we're going to have to clear out some of these rocks here because I want to have some of this riverbank to have the water kind of slide up onto so that we can see some of that, the wet map stuff we're going to do later, where we leave like a wet residual area for a few frames. Again, we're going to add in some big rocks ourselves anyway, but this seems fine. A good enough place as any to start. The main thing is that we don't want to have lots of rocks in the middle, slowing our river down any more than we're going to slow it down with our hero, our key central rock. If you have too many things in the middle like this, you'll get some rapids, but it'll also kind of like pool. You'd have to have even more force to overcome it. And I don't want to have like an insanely raging river. So you can just quickly get into problems if you have too many rocks, where it's just essentially damming it up. It's like a slow dam or a wetland or something of that nature where the water has to move more slowly through an area because there's just so many impediments. One impediment, it can crash around, but too many, it'll just slow the whole thing down. So, yeah. So I'm going to say frame 20, which means coming back to here, just go up to the scatter, and we'll make this be frame 20. I'll just escape that. So 20. And this should just be the same as what we just saw a moment ago. Very good. And let's address some of those things that I said. I'm going to say go into S for selection mode, 4 for primitive mode, and we want to essentially select these rocks. I'm also going to turn off that background thing. Or I'll keep it on for now. Press this and go to 3D connectivity, and now we can easily select the rocks that we want to select. I'm going to turn off the color. So all these ones kind of along, I'll keep that one, but these ones here, I feel like are, this is kind of the area I want to hollow out. So I can press delete. There you go. We've modified our circumstances here somewhat. I'm going to say now I want to turn everything else off and kind of inspect the ground. Actually, I want the ground on, but the liquid source off. So what else do I want to get rid of? I want to clear out some of these. So you can always click this. It'll put them back, but they'll be selected. And now when I select some new things, I'll keep that one actually. I can press enter, and now they'll all be gone again. So however I want to update my selections, I just keep clicking this and coming back into here. I want to make sure that I don't have a lot of rocks again at the end. It's possible that you'd be missing that. You wouldn't see it. But it does look pretty clear at the front, pretty clear at the back. So we probably don't need to get rid of anything else. Having rocks under the water isn't bad. It'd be cool. It's cool to see them through the water as it goes by. And also it contributes its own churn from below as the river passes over it. But something like that I think is good. And let's also add in some arcs of our own. So if I were to take, let's say, this mountain here, I'm just going to copy and paste it if it ever gets back to me. Here we go. These ones aren't going to be tied to our for loop. These ones are just going to be whatever. And we'll just simply merge them in to the result down here. So I'm going to say transform this. So where do I want to put it? I think I mentioned I want a key rock here in the middle. So this one will probably be kind of tall here. I don't know why it's taking so long to update. It's not really doing anything. Kind Kind of strange. Anyway, I do want to see the liquid source again one more time. This, again, should be something that's right in the middle. I expect that this will cause churn around it. I want some space for that churn, so I'm going to move it upstream a little bit because I want to see it happen around the sides here and then create some white water in this area before it disappears. I see a rock surface here that I wasn't quite expecting. I think I'll delete that one. And turn this off. So I'll get rid of that one too. Oh, shift click that. Here we go. This is the kind of stuff that you could tweak forever, especially considering that this will have a very big impact on our result. The actual behavior of the water is all really tied to this. I'll bring this down into the water a little bit. So that's kind of cool. I like that it has like a peak there. That's pretty rad. What else? I'm going to copy these two again. This one, you know, we're going to have the sun coming from opposite us later. So it can be nice to get some shade on the riverbank for like a variation in the way the lighting looks. So I'm going to put... It's way faster if I don't merge it in. It's pretty strange. I'm going to put this here. We'll obviously change the time on the mountain. I'm going to bring this back to being kind of round. Maybe I'll make it wider. So the point is, I want to have some unusual rocks, some bigger rocks. I'll bring this one over here. We can merge that in. I'm just going to place a few more rocks and then talk about where I put them rather than waste your time with this. Alright, so I didn't change too much else. I added this big rock here, honestly just for decoration. This rock over here to, again, kind of have this overhang to get some shadowing in there. Similar thing here. And then this was the main hero rock here that we put right in the middle. So nothing too crazy. I think I deleted one more rock that I didn't like. Yeah, but that's the idea. I think overall you get it. You saw how long it took to calculate this for loop. Wasn't the worst thing in the world, but oh, I was trying to type file cache. This is enough that we might as well just cache this to disk. So I'm going to say file cache rocks. Do save current frame because we only need to do this once. Do this in the job area. So job/geom/rocks version 0. There's no frame number, so just put skip right to the bgo.sc. That's Houdini's native format. Click load from disk. It errors because their file doesn't exist yet. Save the disk. Now it does. And so now we have this part saved. In fact, we should probably save this part. So I'll just do that. Because that was the hard part, was the for loop, the blast part. Now we can just still change things if we need to. And then here, again, we also add our extra rocks in afterwards. So none of this is cached, but it's all pretty much instantaneous anyway. If we ever need to change anything up here, we'll have to, of course, recache this. But this is pretty good for now. So I'm going to drop a null down. Out. And there you go. We now have rocks. What good is the rocks if they're not actually in the sim? So I'm going to say the colliders. Remember this before I said there'd be more? Well, here they are. So right now, I'll hide everything else. Our colliders are only considering the ground. So click plus, and we can drag that there. So now it's getting both. We were reminded that there's no normals, apparently, on this. So drop a normal sop down. And now we have this looking normal, if you will. And so now our VDB is everything. And the polygon thing here is, of course, just that. So everything trickles down from that, including the liquid source, which you recall also, see that now there's the holes in it from where the rocks are, because that came in from here. We don't need liquid to start there where there are rocks. In fact, it could potentially cause problems if it was too deep. So let's just avoid that whole process and keep it doing what it's already doing here. So let's see what this looks like now. I bet it's a lot more interesting. So there you go. Way more interesting now, isn't it? Way more interesting. It comes in. We have all this breaking water action all over the place now. We can look forward to the wet map action over here. All bunch of cool stuff. So we can also see that this is kind of pooling maybe a little more than I'd like here. This is what I'm talking about, where the colliders will slow the flow of the water down. We may need to make this a little bit smaller. Let's see. Let's see what it looks like with some more resolution first. I'm going to go all the way down to 0.02 now on this. Let's see if we get a similar behavior. This should still run pretty fast. Okay, here's the result of looking at it and then realizing, yes, I should move this rock over a little bit towards the center. Made it a little bit smaller, but otherwise didn't change anything else. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. There's one issue here that's a fairly common issue, which is if you look over here, this water that I pointed out earlier is kind of backwashing a little bit towards here, but right at the end, it starts to move forward again. We talked about 48 frames here being the kind of settling in period, because, it starts as this unnaturally flat thing, and then it kind of settles in, settles in, settles in. Like even at this point, we have these bands here that are completely gone by here. So 48 frames is pretty good settle in. Like we have most of our features here, like this trail here and this wave and the splashing up here. But honestly, even by here, there are still some residual effects from the initial sim. So this is pretty good. We can improve this even more in terms of getting a good starting state. And so click on this if you want to keep this around, because we're going to improve this, like I said. If you want to keep this around to compare to, you can always click this red thing up here. That means that this won't be overwritten by your subsequent flipbooks. So I'm going to keep it around because I need to show you, but up to you if you want to. Cool, so onwards and upwards.